Am I live? Am I live? Am I live? Let me see.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
Okay, it's coming through. Yes, it is. Alright, sweet. We should be good. I'm looking at my phone as well. It's yet to update for some reason. Okay, we're good. We're online. Alright, sweet. Live on YouTube. Let me bring this back up. Alright, so let's start this. Alright, welcome everyone. Welcome to the FPL Game Week 4 podcast. It's been some time after the international break, after a crazy end to the summer transfer window. Some chaos happened in the last few days, which basically gave me content for this week, which we're going to discuss into a deep dive as well.
I wonder what it could be,
But
Ryan. I mean, it's
I know,
all
right?
over
I
your-
know. And it just happened to be that I just happened to get like a couple United fans as well on the podcast. All right. So, first of all, introducing my co host, Rushant, and then Abin as well, who's alternating with Roy. So, welcome back, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you've had a decent break from my podcast.
Yeah, I could really,
how
I
you
would
guys
really
been?
use that time off to reflect and,
I know, right? to soak in the whole last few days of the transfer window. How's everyone been?
Yeah, good. I mean, like I said, the transfer window was epic. It was.
Yeah.
I remember sleeping the night before, and I was sending a lot of hate mail to messages and like family of mine that's actually in the UK. It is actually happening. Like City, I just went to bed. This is happening. He's going to City. That is just the worst. What betrayal, whatever. I wake up in the morning and my own phone is just United. I'm like, what the hell happened overnight?
Oh, it was crazy. I was following it on Twitter as well. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
That's the best news ever. I think it could not have gotten better than that. Like,
No. And then you go on Twitter and then you just see all the craziness of everyone about go straight to FPL. How are we going to get this on FPL? How are we going to get the team working? Wildcard.
Yeah, that's a lot of people have wildcarded, and I did a wildcard video as well, so go check it out. It's got a decent number of views as well, and we've also grown in subscribers to now 60, trying to hit 75, so let's try and get that done. And I also did a captaincy video yesterday for anyone who wants to look into it, and looked into Ronaldo as well. And today we're going to go in depth into Ronaldo, now that we know his price as well, at 12.5 million. Rushant, any comments on how?
I think I've already seen your wildcard video as well, and I have already activated my wildcard as of last week.
Oh wow! What?
Are you joking? What?
I've had it. I've done it. I'm one of the people.
Game week 4 wildcard.
Game week 4. It's on. It's an early one, but I think I was too emotionally invested in this man on screen right now, which we'll talk about a lot more. But yeah, some early news.
Well, you guys will have more experience than me because I had never played FPL when he was in United. So,
I don't think I remember. Well, I mostly when I was playing back in the time, it was like, wait, this is 10 years ago. This is my 10th time playing FPL. So
it's been longer
2009.
than
So I
that.
missed him. Yeah. I just missed his like.
I've never played Ronaldo. I've never had Ronaldo in FPL before. So.
Because you see all these Twitter and FPL guys, they just go reminiscing of back in the days when they had him. He had the record of most points until Salah.
He had like 280 something points.
I heard something about his price rise was over like 4 million or something. Is that right? In one of the seasons?
From
How?
like
what? 4 million a season?
Because he delivered, I think, 250 points and then 280 or something like that in back-to-back seasons. And I think that was the 251 that was cheaper. And then and ever since then he hasn't scored less than 20 league goals in a season. So we'll see if he delivers 20 league goals. I think he'll easily deliver 20 league goals, and we'll have a look into that as well. And a lot of people are wildcarded now. Rushant is also wildcarded to get Ronaldo in. Me, on the other hand, I'm taking a -4 to get Ronaldo in. Abin, I'm not really sure. Abin is not yet sure about it.
I haven't done anything to my team since that game week 3 ended. I've been out of the news and just full on work, so I've missed on price rises, price falls. I'm probably going to pay for all of it now when I look at my team.
We'll see.
You know, so I have to do the next couple of days. Just haven't had time to spend on it, but let's go for it.
All right, so then let's get into the agenda. So teams at the start, then Ronaldo, Viva Ronaldo, and then we'll compare him to last season's Premier League. In terms, I've got a list of all those players who got 10 goals and above, and we'll compare his Serie A stats to the rest of the Prem. We'll then look into the game week 1 to 3 attack, defense, and the season ticker as well, and wildcard options. So I put game week 4 to 7 season ticker, and then we'll look at like game week 7 onwards the season ticker as well, and see whether it's actually smart to compare to wildcard now or wildcard later. So we'll have a look into that. I didn't know going into this, I didn't know that Rushant had already activated his wildcard. I might have prepared a bit more, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so talking about teams, Abin, you're the only one with the green arrow this week.
Was I?
Yeah, you're the only one with the green arrow. The two of us took reds. For those
I can't believe
on
that
Spotify,
because I think after Saturday ended, I was like, my rank was like 1.2 million, and then after Sunday happened, it went back up again.
Yeah, that's why. So for those on Spotify, you got Bachman, Trent, Aileen, Shaw, Rafinha, Sun Captain, Fernandez, Salah, Brownhill, Ings, and Antonio.
Yeah, so I am. I have to remind myself on things here. I think I had 2 free transfers. I only used 1. I got rid of
Tsimikas?
No, Tsimikas is there. White and put Ailing in. And then
that's a 1 transfer for the week.
Well, 1 transfer for the week. So I only did 1, and then I was just reading a lot on stuff, and I just wanted to bank it after this international break and see injuries, this and that, and what may happen. And then and again, my captaincy, I wanted to be different from everyone else in this one because I know everyone had Antonio on, which probably in the end was the right decision. I hope I wish Sun did something more, but I mean it was close anyway, so I didn't lose too much. At least he came through for me. But now, it's like I was saying, he looks to be injured after Sun.
Apparently the rumors.
He didn't play the game last night or something. So now I have to watch close to conferences and see his state, because he was not a person I was going to be transferring out
immediately
anytime soon. So that'll, but I can't have that. I mean, it depends. Hopefully he's not too bad injured, because I can maybe survive 1 week him on the bench or something. But I can't have a long
2 weeks or something.
So that's a call to make, because I've got Deadwood and Brownhill sitting there that I don't need. He's just a filler, because I didn't fix my team up with Tsimikas leaving and not being back in the starting lineup. So I've got a bit of work to do, to be honest. Hopefully Feltman now comes back, but I need to check Brighton fixtures coming up. But
maybe if Sun is out for a long time, you could downgrade Sun, upgrade Ings to a Ronaldo.
Well, the plan was to, in all the equal things, was Ings to Ronaldo. Well, I haven't completely, my heart is to put Ronaldo, but I'm not convinced so yet.
Then my job is today to try and convince you.
Where's the kick out button for the call? How do we kick Abin out of this phone call?
That's a hard decision. The next thing, 1 million people have already brought him in, and then he doesn't have.
Exactly. 1.5 million have bought him in,
and then he's sitting on the bench for the first game. I'm like, imagine that.
Oh that's the whole reason why I am yet to play the transfer as well.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So that's why I'm nervous to do that, and him sitting on a bench.
But he did. So he trained yesterday with United. That very lucky shirt celebration, which he had led to a yellow card and suspension from Portugal, which meant him coming early, which was helpful. So we'll see. I think he'll start, and it's in front of Old Trafford. I mean, have to start him, but that's one for Ole to make a decision. We'll see. For us as FPL managers, we're going to have to try and decide or take that risk and see whether it's worth it, especially against a Newcastle
it's
team?
a tough one, right? Because there's a lot of, I'm sure we'll talk about it all later, but there's a lot of good, expensive players there, and a lot of people are moving to Lukaku, right? And now Kane is staying on. You know what a god he is on FPL and stuff. So yeah, you have to find space for all of these guys somewhere in your season, I guess. As long as Antonio is still fit, because he's just delivering the good week in, week out. But it's a tough one.
Yeah, that's the thing. Before all this Ronaldo news, I was on the Calvert-Lewin train, and now I'm like, oh, that might have to wait. So this is my team. 63 points. Sanchez, Trent, Sufa, Shaw, Aylin, Salah, Fernandes, Greenwood, Benrahma, Ings, and Antonio captain. Very similar to Abin's, I guess, in some places. Except for Greenwood, that's probably...
You brought Benrahma in and nearly got you 2 points, eh?
I know, right? That's sad. I'm sorry, guys. I broke Benrahma. I bought him in for Harvey Barnes, and then, he didn't deliver. But yeah, everyone else delivered. Tsimikas is there. Tsimikas is no longer there. I made that transfer before his price fell. And I bought in Semedo. So yeah, we'll see. So that's my team. Moving on. Unless anyone... this thing, Rushant.
So, Rushant, 56.
Rushant. Not the best of weeks.
Terrible, and I think it's primarily due to my captaincy choice, which wasn't really helpful for me. I don't know what went wrong. I mean, captaincy is probably the biggest thing which kind of put me behind this week.
If you actually just put on a common one, you would have had 66.
Well,
you would have had more than all of us.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Antonio was the other option I had, or even Salah was good. But I mean, overall, it's okay. Again, this is not going to reflect how my team is going to look like going forward. Obviously,
your front three delivered though.
Front three delivered very well, especially the differentials of Tony and DCL, which not many people have. That kind of, I guess, helped me catch up to my captaincy shortfall. But I think there's so many interesting options now, and obviously now with the arrival of the big man, it's
is DCL injured?
Let's see. We don't know. I think he's been carrying an injury, apparently, but I don't know. The expectation is that he might play, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So for the sake of the podcast, he has Sanchez, Aylin, Shaw, Amati, Benrahma, Fernandes, Salah, Pogba, Tony, Antonio, and Calvert-Lewin. Obviously now this is completely relevant because the team is going to be completely different, but we'll discuss that a bit later. So let's get into the big man talk right now. VIVA Ronaldo. So now I've compared in this specific one, I've looked at Ronaldo's last 3 seasons, right? And I think all 3 of these were at UA. And I've compared it with Lukaku, who everyone before this was like, okay, we need to get Lukaku in and all of that. And I've added Lukaku's last 3 seasons. The last one was the Premier League season in United, and the other 2 were at Inter. And this is a 36-year-old Ronaldo, by the way. And he outscored Lukaku in both seasons at Serie A in terms of goals. The only thing that he didn't do as much compared to Lukaku is the assist. But then I guess knowing Lukaku's playstyle and looking at Ronaldo's playstyle, they have changed quite a lot, where Ronaldo is now that fox in the box poacher, will get you goals, whereas Lukaku tends to get more involved in the build-up play as well.
Oh yeah, I mean that's interesting stats to me. Lukaku got 10 assists last year. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean that what you just described, what Ronaldo is now, is what Lukaku kind of was, I guess, maybe United. He was just a guy in the box. He didn't do anything. Look, 1 assist in that season, his last season.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised to see, he got double figures in goals and assists. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But the penalty goals are very similar except for the season before for Ronaldo. But Ronaldo's minutes per goal, 97 minutes per goal. Basically, you're almost guaranteed a goal a game at this rate from him. And something interesting that we'll look at, right? So going into it a bit more further, this was his last season, right? And I've added his heat map as well, season heat map. And interestingly, it's on that left-hand side and then moving to like the striker side. So when he comes for United and possibly lines up for United, he could potentially line up on the left as well as an option for United and move into that striker. So you could potentially see United all having a front line of Ronaldo, Cavani, and either Sancho or Greenwood as well as an option. It's not necessarily that Ronaldo would possibly just alternate with Cavani.
I see.
So that's what at
But
least
that would be a
looking at
change
the
in
heat map.
our formation, would it be?
Which they can play a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Looks like they've been playing 4-2-3-1 with Bruno in that 10 slot.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see what Solskjaer does, because Cavani and Ronaldo have both trained right. Cavani is a dingo for internationals, which we thought he was going to do. But yeah, and so something interesting that I've noticed in this is, so we've seen the goals 29, minutes per goal 97. Goal conversion is not too bad. It's pretty decent. But look at the shots total. 168 shots he takes. And when you'll see in the next slide, when you compare it to the rest of the Prem, this guy is just insanely high in terms of shots. The amount of shots he takes is higher than anyone else for some reason.
Well, I think that's obviously because I think this is Serie A stats.
Yeah. So we are going to expect a decrease.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and I think Serie A is nothing compared to the Premier League in terms of you have a few teams where it's like comparing Neymar or Mbappe in PSG.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But regardless, I think you're right. Like, he's still going to have a phenomenal amount of shots, and Ronaldo he's good in set pieces as well. He takes free kicks as well. So I'd see this number be this high. Interesting, we talk about where he's going to play, and he's traditionally stronger on the left as well. But with the addition of Sancho, Greenwood's been playing really well. I don't think that Cavani would be in that. So if you look at the attacking formations, right? Pogba's been playing pretty attacking. We know Sancho's good. He just hasn't clicked just yet. But he will get there. Greenwood's been playing in amazing form. We haven't even talked about Rashford yet when he's back from injury.
Yeah,
I actually think in all this, the person who loses out is actually Cavani. Just because I feel like age.
I would assume. Yeah,
you know what I mean? In which case, Greenwood played up front. He could play striker. Ronaldo could play striker as well. So it'd be really interesting to see where Solskjaer actually fits him in. I think Ronaldo in any of the three slots is going to do really well. Regardless of where he plays. It's just that finding that right balance. And
it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. And also with Pogba as well. Like, there's a lot of talk about Pogba playing very attacking, but United's weakness right now, like, and I know attacking striker, we didn't have a proper recognized striker unless Cavani was counter one, has still been that midfield, the deep midfield.
It's still don't you count Greenwood in that category?
Recognized striker. He's too young, right? I think eventually in the future he will be the striker.
I get everyone saying too young and stuff, but I don't understand it, to be honest. I think, you get Solskjaer saying he's the best finisher in the team, and
he probably is still
that he is. Yeah. You get Haaland in Dortmund that is as young as Greenwood, and he's
that's the thing.
Unreal numbers, right?
I think that the thing is when they say established is someone who's actually proven themselves. So we need to have a season of he needs to have scored like 15, 20 goals.
20.
And be warranted.
And I think he has the potential to do that.
I think so. 100%. I think he's definitely the future, and I think United should, keep him and make sure he grows into something of a future superstar, rather than making the mistake of selling him too early and then buying him back again for triple the price, which is what United does.
Greenwood is Ballon d'Or potential, basically. I would say, I would put him in that bracket of he could be.
So it'll be interesting to see how his growth or lack of is going to be impeded by. Ronaldo or well, not really Ronaldo, just because bring Ronaldo in the team, other people get that position, it's on the right or left or whatever. So
my biggest thing is that when we talk about midfield is that we still have the weakness in Fred in midfield, and Bruno and Pogba are naturally a bit more attacking. They are defending. It's like, how do you then fit Pogba into that role where we want him to be attacking? But I feel like the way United's set up is that it's so hard for him to then be that extra attacker that he needs to play more, back a little bit. That's what's going to happen.
Because
we saw that in the Wolves game, right?
It's so embarrassing in that Bulls game. There's such a hole, and it was the first two games. It was Fred and McTominay on Matic, and then Pogba had the advanced role, and he did amazingly well. Next game. Pogba's brought the holding role. That's the role he plays for France, but he's got in
Kante
to back him up, right? If he wants to take a role. He doesn't have the luxury. Fred doesn't give that to him. So, I mean, it's for
my
sure
worry with
weakness.
Pogba as well. I think that's my issue with Pogba right now is even though I brought him in and I had him in the last couple of weeks as well, I don't think he'll be my team going forward.
No, because he's going to play deep.
He's going to play deep. I just don't see how he's going to be playing in that left wing position or whatever, especially with the talent they've got. And not, again, I'm still carrying that Rashford factor as well. When Rashford comes in, he's sliding straight into the team. He's not going to be benched unless for the first few games as well. So I'm looking long term in the sense that, when Rashford
injury, that's fair.
you're going to have Ronaldo, you're going to have Rashford. Greenwood might even go into bench role. Unfortunate for him, sucks for him, but it's just the way the team is so stacked right now. If Sancho elevates that one level above Greenwood, and for the price tag we paid for Sancho, I just think it makes sense to start him. So, it'll be very, very interesting. I don't think Pogba is not. He won't be dropped from the lineup. I think he'll still play. It's just a matter of where he plays.
And it's unfortunate for him, right? Like you think that he might. This is maybe his last season at United. You think that he's going to show what he's worth. That he's not afforded the opportunity of being in the best position that he wants to be in, which we saw in game 1 and 2. So I feel for it because I would want to see it as well. But we just have such a weak spine in Fred or Matic or whoever else is there.
Sam in the chat is also saying Pogba is performing better up front. Yes, that's the thing. So we have to see, because you could say right now, looking at United's team, in the long run, Ronaldo is not going to be sitting on the bench. So he's going to be starting, right, in that front three, which means you're looking at, at least in the long run, we're thinking Ronaldo and Sancho are probably going to be confirmed like starters in that front three. At least that's what they were bought for. And then there's that one spot where you're looking at like Pogba could play there on the left, Rashford could play on the left, Greenwood could play on the left. So there's so many players who can play on there. It's just like, what will Solskjaer do? I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's a good problem to have. But as fantasy managers, it's not a good problem for us in terms of picking assets that we want. With also the Champions League fixture next week, will Ronaldo start? Okay, that's also something to consider. I think Ronaldo will still start, even though the Champions League fixture is next week. Because looking at the Champions League fixture, it's against young boys. It's not too big of an opponent as well. So I don't think it's a big problem. I think the fact that United are playing at Old Trafford will make it a huge factor in terms of, I don't know if he'll start or not. We'll still wait and see. I think he will. But he will definitely be featured in that game.
I think, we talk about Ronaldo's age as well, 36 years old. Solskjaer would want to keep him till the end of the season. We can't risk any, we just can't afford any injuries now.
But he's not like he's specimen-wise, he's like younger.
He's a freak. He's a freak.
I saw that one I think, picture of Rooney is like a couple of months younger, but he looks so much older.
That's right. So let's go ahead.
No, that's good. I think that's the thing. I think it'll be interesting to see where he I think he'll play. He's not. He's never.
I think he'll play.
As much and stuff. Really looking forward to seeing him.
So now what I did was I took Ronaldo's stats from SofaScore because I couldn't get it on Fantasy Football Scout. But I took the rest of the Prem from Fantasy Football Scout. And interesting, I also added Zlatan here just for comparison in terms of how he performed when he came to United. Obviously, he came from Liga. It's not the same this thing, but to try and kind of get, like, he's a very similar type of striker. You bring that big striker who United are probably going to look at in terms of putting the balls to him and all, and see how he performed as well. And I've also added Lukaku's Serie A stats from last season as well and compared it. Now, this list is sorted by minutes per goal, and obviously there's a lot of players on here. These are all the players who got more than 10 goals in the Prem. And Bale was right on top there in terms of minutes per goal. And Ronaldo was second in terms of minutes per goal from last season. Now, the next one is Iheanacho at 121. So even if Ronaldo was to, let's say, take a drop, right, in terms of, like we see a drop in numbers, I don't think it's going to be that bad because we're looking at Kane at 134, Salah at 140, And interestingly, Cavani is there at 136.8, and Cavani didn't get too many starts as well. And he still managed to get like a decent number of minutes per goal, which means Ronaldo probably being the better player. I would still assume he'll be up there.
Yeah, I think for me here, like the Bales one is a bit misleading since that he played the last game and he had that really good run towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Probably what boosted him. And I think, well, let's just assume that, Ronaldo and Lukaku's stats are from Serie A, so let's scale it down a little bit. I still think the best comparison here, like you pointed out, was probably Cavani for a team that it already has that attack, and United in the same team. He's pretty much just picking out Cavani and chucking around the ring.
Yeah.
Better than the 136 by a mile.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing, right? Because you look at Cavani, he got 6 headed goals as well last season. And people were like, oh, United might have to change their playing style, right? Because they didn't play much of a crossing playing style when Cavani was not on the pitch.
Yeah.
But when Cavani was on the pitch, he managed to get the crossing play style. So I don't think United have to adapt too much just because Ronaldo is on there, because people are thinking Ronaldo is there. He's probably the best player in world football in terms of aerial headed goals.
Yep.
And you're probably going to cross the ball a lot to get him to feed him that ball, because he's most likely going to win the header.
Yeah.
And we saw it in the match against Portugal, right? The Portugal game, he scored 2 headed goals. So I think United don't have to change too much, but looking at the stats of him, right? Even like the shots total, I said 168. And obviously we're not going to see 168, but like Kane is producing 137, Salah 126, Bruno Fernandes 121, Calvert-Lewin Bamford 107. So we're still going to see a high volume, I think, from Ronaldo in terms of shots and goals. But now in terms of fantasy, right? Because if you look at the shots on target, Ronaldo had only 69 shots on target, which is a bit more than 1/3. And I think in terms of fantasy, for bonus points, you do tend to lose points for every shot off target. So that could impact his bonus points potential.
Yeah.
If he's taking a lot of shots and if he's missing about 3 shots off target a game, that's a few points off there in terms of the bonus points.
Yeah.
And when you compare that to the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Shaw and all, who like pass a lot and have a like high accuracy in terms of passes, and they manage to rack up those bonus points, right? That's why like Bruno Fernandes, if he just scores a goal, he goes away with 3 bonus points because of his like high racking up of like the whole bonus point system.
Yeah.
So we're going to have
Ronaldo as a striker as well. He's going to take a lot more shots, and I know it's interesting because I think Bamford had that issue last season where he was attempting a lot of shots, and he was scoring but wasn't getting the max 3 bonus points in most games unless he extra. Which is why you found the likes of maybe Dallas getting the 3 bonus points or someone else. But I think it comes back to performance as well. So we talked about the initial column of shots total, shots inside box and stuff. And in a typical game, if Ronaldo scores more than a goal or 2, you'd think that he might get the bonus points. And it would take a lot of shots for him to bring that down from points.
I'm having a few questions in the chat, and that is, let me bring it up again. Thoughts on wildcard team? Sanchez, Trent, Duffy, but we'll get to the wildcard. There was a question with Jesse Lingard was excellent in qualifiers. Wonder why no one talking about him. I don't think Jesse Lingard is going to have many opportunities, unfortunately. To perform. So
honestly,
unless
I thought
he gets
that
a move.
him going to West Ham would have been the best option for him. I'm very surprised that they didn't, pan it out for him personally.
Yeah.
He was a massive contributor to West Ham last season, and West Ham is going really strong. They're a team, yearning for that top 4 again this year. Europe has already. United did the smart thing by keeping him because he's definitely a valuable backup right now, and I think he will play a lot more in these other cups and other competitions. And he's a safety net. I think he comes with the bench. He'll give you some lists and stuff. So in terms for fantasy purposes, I don't think he's.
I don't think so.
At the moment,
unfortunately. Not going to be like how he was last year, was he?
No.
From West Ham days,
And then what else did I want to point out in this? That was so for Ronaldo, right? Because looking at his assist potential compared to the rest of the strikers, like the premiums, like Kane, Bruno Fernandes, Salah, even they produce way more assist compared to Ronaldo, so we're very reliant on him getting those goals and making sure that, because the others, we knew Kane had that partnership with Son, where he was assisting Son and also scoring goals, so he made him a really good FPL asset in terms of ownership. Especially because if you're a striker, you're going to get only 4 points for a goal compared to a midfielder who's going to get 5 points for a goal. So we're going to have to wait and see, but I think Newcastle is a good game that probably you don't want to miss out the opportunity. And also I think...
Well, I thought that about Southampton.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I also thought about Southampton. But given Bruno's form, right? It hasn't been that great, Bruno's form.
No, it hasn't. It's his first game. He's been getting 2 points and yellow cards as well.
Yeah. So that's what we had to see.
Interesting. I actually think Bruno plays on a pretty high wavelength. If you look at Bruno playing, I know he hasn't gotten off the best start, even though he got 20 points in game week 1, and people have forgotten about that, obviously.
Yes.
He's blank in 2 game weeks. A fellow Portuguese man, they've got the chemistry already in internationals.
Do they really? I haven't figured that out yet, because in the Euros, Fernandes wasn't starting. It was Moutinho.
I understand, but I just think that they're both world-class players, and Bruno has been carrying the team in offense. I know it's a bit of a understatement in a way, but he has lacked that finisher in his team. He would be a lot more assists if people actually did finish. He had to.
Oh yeah, that's true. And I think Ronaldo is going to do that.
I think Ronaldo will do that. And I think let's forget about the international thing. If you don't want to talk about international, fine. But he needed that. I think he's playing he started off in a cam role where he's feeding the ball in. He constantly feeds the ball in to someone who can finish, and that person is Ronaldo. So I'm really interested in seeing their partnership in between. I know that people are sort of writing off Fernandes right now because he's of a high price point, but I wouldn't write him off just yet. I think he's still got some value.
You've got space in your team for Fernandes and Ronaldo and Salah.
Oh,
right.
I don't think so.
But there are ways I can bring all three.
The counter argument to that is, like, people would say that Fernandes is probably going to lose penalties to Ronaldo. Now, interestingly, Fernandes has a high penalty conversion rate compared to Ronaldo. He has like about 93 or 94% conversion rate compared to Ronaldo's like 85%. So it's not too much of a difference, but if you have a recognized penalty taker who's most likely going to get to the goal, I don't know if Solskjaer is going to go like, okay, Bruno is still taking penalties, or will Ronaldo come and like, okay, Ronaldo takes the penalties, Bruno takes free kicks. I don't know how that's going to work. That's something we have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's interesting as well, because Ronaldo, even in his interview when he as well, he was talking about how he wants to do whatever the manager wants to do. So it doesn't seem like the guy who's going to come in and demand a lot of things. He's happy to do whatever the team wants to do. So even though Ronaldo has always been taking free kicks, at least the last 12 years or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if, some games Fernandes does take it over Ronaldo. But in that, how do you, imagine you were the manager of United and you have someone like Ronaldo, I feel like it's disrespect not giving him penalties, you know what I mean?
And he'll won that golden boot as well. So
exactly. So I think I'll be very surprised if it doesn't go to Ronaldo, and I'm sure he's not going to mind.
No, he's probably not going to. He's more of a team player than an individual player.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean that's going to be very interesting to watch. Again, like we're all speculating right now. You could, as you're right, you said, Fernandes has a very, very good conversion rate for penalties, and he's proven himself for United the last couple of years. So that's all interesting factors, right? So see right now, if Fernandes is still going to be on penalties, people are not going to,
Oh, then it changes a lot. Then it changes things a lot.
That's right.
But what that makes interesting is, United have that interest. They have like a sick run that comes from until March or something. That goes until March, like a 16-game run, which is just, if you look at the fixture ticker, it's just green. And I think if Fernandes is taking penalties, then you're going to see Fernandes and Ronaldo in your teams.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
You see triple for the rest of the season, pretty much. After.
Yeah, that's what. So
when is that from? Sorry,
which one?
When did you say is that run of fixtures?
Let me check.
Something or like 16. It's late. It's late down.
It's like it's late. So if you look at, it starts from the 1st of December all the way till
Yeah, wow.
end of Feb.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's an insane run that they have upcoming. So that's basically talk about Ronaldo. James in the comments says the Sun situation ruins everything. Yeah, I think Abin's also going to have that issue with Sun and see what happens. I think your decision is basically wait and see for press conference.
Yeah, but that's right. It's if it's just a game, I'm fine. But if it's 5 games, I'm not fine, right? Because Tottenham, if I remember correctly, they have some decent fixtures coming up as well. And I wouldn't let go of him easily. I like to have a Spurs asset. I know. I mean, they've won all their games so far, top of the table, all 1-0. Not been exciting, but they gained the results, so that's what matters. And Son has been the highlight of it. But now that Kane is back, we'll see how that works and that connection building up again.
Yeah. And then UTFR says he's checking on Wildcard team. So we'll look into Wildcard team now. We'll go towards the team's attack and defense and also look at the fixture ticker. But because now that I know that Prashant is looking at Wildcard, let's go to the season ticker straight away. So this is the upcoming fixtures until game week 8, right? And Wolves are right on top of there. So I'm assuming Prashant has like a couple Wolves players in terms of defense. We don't know. He's not going to tell us. But so Wolves right on top of there. He's going out for Ronaldo next week anyway, but leaves me short this week with DCL and Rafinha uncertainty. Okay, so James is replacing Son for Ronaldo very soon.
For Ronaldo?
Yeah, eventually. But I think he's in a position where he has Calvert-Lewin and Rafinha as well, and uncertainty. So I don't know if he's also thinking of wildcarding, which I think Prashant also had the same issues of too many uncertainties over players. Like
it seems like he might have to take a hit then, or two.
Yeah, that's one. So I guess if you're taking a -4, -8, okay. But if you're going anything above that, then I'll wildcard for sure. And that's what we're going to look. So Wolves, Arsenal have good set of fixtures, even though I still don't know what Arsenal is going to turn up. They could very well...
What do you mean?
Norwich could very
There's
well
only been one Arsenal that's turned up for the first 3 games.
Yeah.
We haven't seen what alternatives yet.
There's only one Arsenal that's turned up for the last 10 years. On re-retired.
So we'll have to see what happens to Arsenal. Norwich up there as well. Brighton up there. So Brighton... you said what Brighton's fixtures, they have Brentford upcoming, so it's not too bad. Leicester is the tough one, but then after that it's a decent set of fixtures. And then you have Watford, Leeds, Liverpool, Aston Villa right at the bottom, which is why a lot of people want to have Danny Ings. Okay, he got you those 2 goals and assist. Get him out now because they have a tough set of fixtures upcoming. United, almost bottom, like very mid this thing. United and City very close by together. Chelsea also there, but the thing is, between Game Week 4 and then comparing this to Game Week 7, you see the likes of Chelsea just go immediately boost up.
That's right. And that's wildcard week there.
Yeah, so that could be potentially another wildcard week for others who are looking into. So you see Chelsea going up. You have Newcastle, if you had Callum Wilson, maybe a decent option. West Ham have a decent set of fixtures, but then West Ham you have to kind of consider in terms of Europe as well. We don't know what's going to happen in terms of them playing in the Europa League. United go right bottom. So you want to get rid of... If you're getting Ronaldo in now, it's going to be for a short time. But here I am saying a short time, and then this guy goes and scores goals. And then when it comes to that time that we think of getting rid of him for Lukaku, it's not going to be easy to say, right? Because if the guy is banging in goals, you're not going to be taking him out, even if the fixtures are going to turn.
Exactly, that's the big issue as well. I know people are, the love for Ronaldo is bringing him in, but this table shows exactly what we're talking about. After game week 7, United's literally dead last in terms of fixture difficulty. In saying that, we're talking about the best player in the world, if not the best player in the world. I like to compare the two, But I think I think that's why people who haven't wildcard yet, they take a bit more cautious approach of watching, and I think that's not a bad idea either. To be honest, I wasn't thinking about wildcarding until I looked at my team, and it wasn't the Ronaldo factor that really pulled it in. It's more like the overall team balance.
Yeah, it wasn't because of
some wrong transfer I did early on. It's up in a way, but I still think Ronaldo's not a bad shot again for week 4 onwards. It'll be very, very interesting to see again, as you said, week 7 onwards, Everton, Leicester, Liverpool, Spurs, City, especially.
Like look at Liverpool. Liverpool are also bottom. So United and Liverpool, like we remember discussing that shade of red in our team is going to turn into a shade of blue.
Yeah.
Because Liverpool also tough fixtures. You have City, United, West Ham in the next 6 in that set.
Yeah.
So it's not easy.
I think if you take out the City game, which probably is the real hard game, I don't think the other games are not scoreable. Like United, I think United's defense hasn't been up to a point where you're feeling comfortable. I mean, Varane's addition has been really, really good. I still think in the wings, they're not as probably quick to stop the likes of Salah and Mane, but regardless, it's going to be a harder fixture for them too.
Yeah.
I actually have a bit more, I don't know why, I probably shouldn't say this, but I have more confidence with the Liverpool players.
Attacking. Yeah, I would keep Salah even in that run.
In the hard run over United. Just a gut.
Because he scored against Chelsea. So
Exactly. So, yeah, even though they're coming second last year, I think Liverpool players probably still have a bit more appeal. Just a slight edge.
Yeah, fair enough. So now, I'm just checking the comments. Many are going with 3 up front, Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Antonio ODCL. Interesting is Ronaldo starting is not a guarantee, and Lukaku picked up an injury.
People afford that much.
So I have seen teams with people having Ronaldo and Lukaku in front.
What?
Along with an 8 million or like an Antonio or a DCL.
Wow.
But it leaves, for my liking in general, I don't like the balance of the team.
Yeah.
I think the team is a bit imbalanced. That's why I did that wildcard video. And when I did the wildcard video, I went with more of a 3-5-2 approach, with Ronaldo there and then swapping Ronaldo out for Lukaku. And that had a more balanced team. I did put Lukaku as well in that wildcard video and tried a scenario with Lukaku and Ronaldo, but I just didn't like it for my this thing. But then I guess it's dependent on everyone else as well. Each one has their own different play style, and you could put a debate forward for Lukaku playing against an Aston Villa team who potentially don't have Emi Martinez back in goal. He could get goals. I guess it's an option, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I mean, 3 strikers up front seems fine in the sense that, this season the template has changed from last season. Last season you saw 3-5-2 as a standard because there weren't any strikers up front who were giving you the returns that warranted you having a 3-4-3. This season around, I think 3-4-3, I think I mentioned this probably in our week 1 before we started the video as well, the season as well. I think 3-4-3 is probably the most popular formation you're going to see in this season, mainly because of the value you get in that mid-range strikers. So in $7 to $8 million with Antonio, Bamford, Jimenez, Wilson, Tony, whatever. Interestingly, I don't think having Lukaku and Ronaldo is the safest bet. It's good, looks good. The most expensive strikers who are in the teams with the highest attacking potential. I think you're right. I think it kind of you're hedging too much. You are spending too much on you're spending almost a quarter of your
budget
bankroll on 2 players. So
yeah.
I think it's again up to you. If you really want to go with the 2 strikers up front, fine. If you're going with that, I'd probably recommend don't going with a third striker of 8 million.
Because if you're going with those 12, right? Those 12.5. Okay, I know Bruno Fernandes, you're probably not going to have him. That's fine, because I think a lot of people are switching Bruno to Ronaldo. What do you do with Salah?
Yeah, I think people are looking at Jota as a replacement there. Which is fine, which I think is okay with Firmino injured right now, or at least for the short term. I think what it really leaves you, if you see you had that 12 and an $8 million striker, you're forced to go, you have to start with 3 strikers up front, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have 3 midfielders at best over $1 million. You're not going to find 4 solid midfielders at less than 6 mil. Unless you take a punt on the likes of Sa and Ben Rama and that sort of mid-range options, which might work out for the short run, but I wouldn't have confidence personally taking those players into the long season, with the So
now there's a wildcard team in the comments, right, from UTFR United. He's that Sanchez, Trent, Duffy, Shaw, Salah, Jota, Son, Rafinha, Antonio, Dennis, and Ronaldo. Just gone with like that one premium striker and Ronaldo, Antonio, who is on form. the cheap enabler in Dennis, who is also playing for Watford, I believe. And then he's got a midfield of Salah, Jota, Son, Rafinha. I think that midfield can kind of improve a bit more better in terms of variety of options. Again, obviously, uncertainties over Son and Rafinha don't help. And then you have Trent, Duffy, Shaw as a back three.
Problem with I think Duffy's had a few good games, but I think he's on. I don't as a wild card if he's just starting. I think he's a replacement, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not really sure on Duff. Like, I think even then there are, I think, better options in terms of. I think he's an enabler for 4.1. I mean, he's going to be on a bench if he doesn't start. It's fine. But I think you would want to find a defender who is a bit better in your starting, if you want to put him in a starting 11.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. If he's a filler, then fine. But if he's a starting, I think he'll have a run of games. I don't know how many more, but I did read somewhere that he's just substituting for somebody else that's injured. I can't remember who it is.
Lamptey.
Yeah, Lamptey. Feltman has also been injured, so.
I think Veltman plays sort of centre back now with thingy, but I actually think that White was the other starter last season for Duffy's been really good so far, and I don't see any reason why he's going to get benched. And obviously, Duffy
probably might start.
I think Duffy will play at least for the next few games. I think
they have a decent set of fixtures,
and very good. I think Brighton are very underrated, and in the sense that I saw something. I think over the next 20 weeks, they have the easiest set of fixtures.
Probably.
In terms of...
like a decent set. Like if you're looking at these next 4, right? It's only Leicester. That's a bit this thing. And then when you go from 7 to 12, where are Brighton? Brighton here. So they have City and Liverpool, which is the tough ones. The other side, I think, doable. Yeah.
And again, 4.1, you're not going to start him every week. You probably...
No, you're not. Yeah, that's the thing. So if he's your 4.1 and you want to start him every week, then I would reconsider trying to find another centre back as well, just in case. Sorry, another defender.
Yeah.
All right, so now this is the recap, right, of game week 1 to 3. City right on top of there in terms of expected goals. Liverpool just below West Ham, and then Wolves. Wolves obviously haven't scored anything, but they are right on top of those charts for expected goals. And 2 people who stand out in terms of Wolves are Jimenez and Traore. Now, Jimenez has created the most chances for forwards so far, and Traore has created the most chances for midfielders so far. Now, I don't know which player of that is going to be in Roshan's team. We don't know. But if you guys were to suggest one, who would you go for?
We haven't. You haven't also mentioned Trincao, who is the other underrated Wolves.
But they haven't scored a goal yet, have they?
No, they haven't scored a single goal yet.
Yeah. But they've had a tough run of fixtures, but I don't think they'll struggle this season. It's a good team.
Their fixtures are good now, going forward, by the way. They're right on top.
This is the week for Wolves to turn they're going to turn, I think I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm saying I'm not going to have a single Wolves player in my team because I'd be lying if that's the case. I definitely do have a Wolves player in my team, maybe more than one. Yeah, I think Wolves have had a lot of chances. I saw their highlights as well, looking really good. They've come close. I'm not sold on Traore just yet. I know if I was drafting my NFL team, I'd probably draft him in as my number 1 pick because he's freaking massive. But for football, he's looked promising, but this is the same issue I had with him last season as well. He gives you a lot of hope. He goes right in, he feeds the box right in. He just can't convert. That's his issue.
Yeah.
Can't finish. So, Traore is still a good at 6 mil. He's playing up front. He's created the most chances for Wolves. I think pretty much tied with Jimenez in terms of shots on target or whatever it is. We'll have to wait and see.
What do you think of Ruben Neves?
He's never been an FPL option though, to be honest, Ruben Neves.
Yeah. He was at one point probably when they didn't have Traore and it was him and Jimenez sort of leading the attack, and he had a lot of assists. But he's, I think, kind of like the Pogba of Wolves. When he plays up front, he's really good. right now
He doesn't play often.
he's playing a bit back, so he's the Pogba of the Wolves, really.
Another thing with Wolves, right, you can say is they played tough teams where it kind of fit into their system of them being able to counter. Now they're going to come up against teams where now they have to create. So that's something I guess we're going to have to wait and see how they adjust to that as well. Because they went against tough teams and it kind of fit their playstyle.
And the problem with Wolves, it's hard. Like they have so many options. Like it's the way they play. You know, the set pieces. You have size on headers. Cody can score on headers. Semedo is coming on the wing. So it's really hard. Like even though Jimenez is up front, we don't know what Jimenez. You know, which kind of Jimenez is he? Is he the one pre-injury or is he rejuvenated Jimenez right now? The worry for me is it's hard for fantasy purposes to pick that right player who's going to give me the most points throughout the entire season. That's my issue right now. On paper, it looks really good. They look really good. You know, the chances are there. We haven't talked about Trincao, but Trincao was amazing against United as well. I saw some of the highlights and he looked dangerous. You know, he could have scored multiple times. He seems like a strong guy when he goes into the box. Doesn't seem to be toying around. Maybe I'm a bit, maybe it's a bit unfair because he was being marked by Fred, which is a bit, doesn't really say it.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue with Wolves is that you're going to have to take a bit of a punt on the sense of, okay, you're bringing in Jimenez, good. Are you sure he's the one who's going to give you the points? Or is it going to be Traore? Or is it going to be Trincao? Or is it Ruben Neves? You never know, right? Or even Moutinho has a lot of crosses and he's on set pieces as well. So, yeah, it's interesting.
And then you have Everton, Southampton, Chelsea, Brighton there, Newcastle, Tottenham, Burnley, United, interestingly very low. And here we are talking about Ronaldo. So we'll see. In terms of, obviously City are on the top, but City's fixtures upcoming aren't really great. People have been thinking of getting like Ferran Torres. So City have Leicester, Chelsea, and Liverpool in the next 5. Next 5 they have Leicester, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Would you suggest a Ferran Torres at 7 million, who is possibly playing that false 9 position?
The surprising thing is Pep started same starting 11 in games 2 and 3, which is the biggest shock there was, right? But that's definitely, that is an option that I've been considering of trying to find a way of getting Ronaldo in and bringing someone of, he's had a cracking start to the season. But I haven't thought of that yet. It would have been him to Fernandes and, Ings to Ronaldo or Lukaku. Haven't figured that out yet, but why not?
He's good. I think we talked about, the whole thing with City was Pep Roulette and the fact of, are they going to sign a new striker? Quietly in all these first 3 weeks, Ferran Torres is playing up front in the best team in the league and has been the best team in the league for the last few years. And all of a sudden now people are realizing, oh crap, why don't we have the guy who plays centre forward in the team that's won the Premier League? In the best team in the league, right? Like we can't deny the fact that City are the best team in the league, and it seems like right now the first 3 games is not slated to lose his position to anyone.
Probably not, no.
Especially with the way that Jesus has now found a new spot in the right
for right wing,
and Nomo Aguero, Bernardo Silva is out of the contention, so Mahrez is coming off the bench, which has been really upsetting for the Mahrez owners. I don't see why not. Even with the fixtures coming in,
I think it's just again the only thing is on confidence of is Pep, is he going to be starting?
Champions League also upcoming. City don't have easier group. City have PSG and all. So
what's the status on De Bruyne?
That's a good question. He's back, right? He should be back in the City team.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to consider.
Yeah.
The thing with Ferran Torres, I think you're right in the sense that he's not going to get benched for form. It'll be for rotation purposes for Champions League and stuff.
But the same thing with Jesus, right? I mean, he's had a great start of the season. Unbelievable numbers, assists and goals. So I wouldn't mind him as well. But again, the confidence of he's starting.
Yeah. I think the appeal with more the City players with Grealish and Ferran Torres, the midfielders were cheaper than Jesus. Simple as that.
You think Grealish is locked in that position even with De Bruyne coming back in?
Yeah, I think Grealish is playing in that sort of left wing forward as well, and he's very strong on the left. You've seen all the balls.
So that's just at the detriment of Sterling, then, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sterling is pretty much going to get booted out if Grealish is pretty much locked in. I think the one at risk is probably Gundogan, who has been starting and captaining City a lot more with De Bruyne. And we saw that last season as well. Like, it's always been De Bruyne to Gundogan who's had the most risk.
Yeah. I mean, when De Bruyne is not playing and Gundogan is playing, Gundogan has outstanding numbers. But when De Bruyne is playing, Gundogan is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. Which is the reason why I brought in Gundogan my week 2 as well. And I was saying, Ryan, I was watching the game and he always
had the chances to score. Yeah.
And he was so close to scoring in every single cross. And I was like, what the hell? Like, seriously, watching this game was so frustrating. Arsenal.
They got like 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, there's so much value and good players in your midfield and striking force. It's like everyone is not too fussed about a strong defense, to be honest. I mean, everyone had Diaz at the back. Nobody's talked about Van Dijk being back. Varane, he's making a huge difference. A lot of premium defenders, but I guess nobody cares because that's not where the points are.
Yeah, that's also true. And they're also a bit of a pricey side. James goes, does Son plus Antonio to Torres plus Ronaldo work to game week 7? I probably won't get rid of Antonio, to be honest, especially on the form he is. If you can, maybe if you do Son plus Ings to Ronaldo plus Torres, then yeah, I would recommend that, but not Antonio.
I think Antonio is pretty much that player you need to sort of look to build your team around for next week.
Yeah.
As long as he's fit.
Oh yeah, as long as he's fit, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Again, with Europa League as well, that's not a consideration with West Ham. But I just think you need to ride the Antonio train right now. You just can't drop the guy who's given you points in 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And I know the teams haven't been the best they've played against, and the fixtures are probably going to get slightly harder. So I think, for the next 3 weeks, I think he's probably a lock.
Yeah, true. Antonio I would keep. And then let's just touch on the defense. Arsenal right there on top with the worst defense, along with Newcastle, and that's why we're looking at all that Ronaldo hype, because Newcastle are probably the second worst defense at the moment, followed by Southampton, Norwich, Burnley, and then Leeds. Leeds there as well. So Salah, captainers, if anyone wants to captain Salah and don't have, it's a decent option. And then at the strongest defenses, you got Wolves there right at the bottom, along with City, Brentford, interestingly, Everton, Crystal Palace. So Brentford also people with Jose Raya. I don't know if Brentford have a good set of fixtures, do they? Upcoming?
They have some hard fixtures, actually.
Yeah, that's what. So, yeah, probably not.
I haven't got a real good sense of how Brentford season is going to go. Have a good start.
Yeah, that's it.
No sense. It's like we'll see how they come through these next couple of games.
Yeah, and then decide. Yeah. If you want to Timu Pukki party this week, maybe could be a possibility. The state Arsenal is in.
No.
You know what? In my wildcard, he was the first player I brought in. He's not there anymore. But again, because of last years ago vibes and just the whole feel of having that Pukki party. I'm not convinced with Norwich just yet. Obvious reasons they haven't got off to a good start. I do have hope for Norwich, especially now the next few game weeks with some fixtures turning around for them. I would like to see a bit more Norwich players in my team actually, because there's some really good value.
Brandon Williams 4.4 million. Although he didn't have a great debut, he got rinsed on that. I'll say that. But yeah,
I think Brandon Williams is good to have in your bench, but I mean, I saw the fixtures for Norwich. I had brought him in as well because he's 4 million and he's probably going to rise to 2.1. But do you really have the confidence starting Brandon Williams and you think you're going to have a clean sheet with Norwich?
No. I look at every game and I'm thinking they'll
exactly. Even though on paper it looks good, when it's got the tickers of 2 and 3 or whatever it is. I just don't see any.
Like, you look at the Arsenal game, could concede. Watford, Emil Sarr could score Dennis, Everton, Calvert-Lewin, Burnley, Chris Wood, Brighton, maybe. Probably not. So yeah, that's the defense. We'll see. I guess people wildcard in, have a look at the stats. Maybe it could help you all. Check the wildcard video. Let's quickly go into price changes, right? And let me bring up the price changes. I don't know if I'm on the correct browser as well. Let me just check. Let me get this up for you guys, and let me get them up for the stream as well. There we go. All right, sweet. So price changes: Antonio due for a rise soon. Alan Ferran Torres we were speaking about due for another rise as well in the international break. Canos Demari Gray, someone we haven't spoken about. Everton 5.6 now. Looked pretty decent as well for Everton. Playing in the front three with Calvert-Lewin. Decent option. And Sun here, not yet sure. Looks like it's going down a bit, but yeah.
Is Sun going down?
A bit, but I don't think he'll fall immediately, so don't worry about it in terms of price. In terms of price falls, though, Tuanzebe, Dalot, Lanzini, anyone interesting? Not really anyone interesting from price falls. It's all the expected players. In terms of prices that fell recently, someone who was interesting was, I think Chilwell keeps falling, and it could be a very interesting option if he gets a bit more lower. And if he manages to get that left back spot from Alonso, he could be a decent option. But yeah, nothing too much from the happenings. In terms of watch list, I put Calvert-Lewin and Ronaldo here. Ronaldo already 16.8% owned by the game. So we'll see. At the moment, his price is locked.
If it rise as well, I think his ownership will get to that 20-30% probably.
Yeah, that's what. So we'll have to see. I don't mind. Like, if I can get a couple price rises from Ronaldo, if I get rid of him for Lukaku, that's fine. The only problem is if his ownership goes way high, where it is like with Salah and all in the 50% range.
It's not going to increase as much.
Yeah. So then that's where we'll see what happens. It is probably the best player in the Premier League right now. He's there, so you can't leave that option. So that's the price. This thing. Let's go to the FPL managers team, which we haven't looked into. So
how did we go last week? No, last game week.
I don't think we went too bad, to be honest. That's
a combined team going to Wildcard with Rush?
No. Do we? What? We got 65 points last week.
That's really good.
So let me just bring that back up, right? We got 65 points. Shaw, Grealish, Sufal, Lucadini, Pickford, Everton delivered for us. Fernandes, Dallas, Salah delivered. Ings, Tony, Bamford delivered captaincy. I don't think I made a transfer on this. So we have 2 free transfers as well to play with. So if we were to transfer out, let's just go to pick the team, right? Ben White is going to be crazy value. I don't trust Arsenal's defense at the moment, so I wouldn't even put him in there. But yeah. So this is the team.
Ings is a player I want to look to get out.
Yeah, so Ings will be out. Who else are we getting rid of?
Do you know what? I actually think because everyone's going to bring in Ronaldo. I actually hope that we go with the no Ronaldo for this team and see what.
This is going to be your Lukaku or somebody else.
Someone else, Kane or something, just someone random who people are overlooking because of Ronaldo. And
who has the good fixtures
as well, which in strikers as well. So
isn't that Chelsea? Doesn't Chelsea have a good run?
Chelsea, no, not yet.
Yeah.
Bulls, Watford. I mean, Jimenez, you could try with Jimenez. Everton, if you knew Calvert-Lewin's status.
How much do we have in the bank? Can we afford?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think we have a decent amount in the bank. So let's go to transfers. We have 1 million in the bank with 2 free transfers. So let's say you want to get rid of Ings, right? Who else? Do you want to do both transfers?
I mean, I'm happy keeping Tony in for 1 more week before he's just get worse. I guess we need to have some kind of a plan, right? What do we want to do? Do we want to bring another premium in, or happy with Fernandes? What's the
we could have Fernandes as that differential if everyone's going Ronaldo.
Yep. Okay. For this 1 game week actually, and then we'll start next week.
Yeah.
Not the worst idea.
Who would you bring in though for forward? We don't have Antonio, obviously. We can try Jesus, but City's fixtures aren't the best.
Yeah. Actually, you just clicked on Vardy as well. He's another player that's been really interesting to me. He's gotten off to a good start after the next game week. Let's just actually be not spoken of just yet, but I think their tide will turn. Especially the form, the whole team's back. Barnes, Maddison, all back, and they were all big hitters last season. So I see no reason why they wouldn't get back to that by that week 6, week 7. Which is my other concern as well. Like, people have zero, close to nil Leicester players in the team. And right now we're kind of going with the template of, okay, we'll have a set plan. Let's go with United, and Chelsea's coming in week 7. That's it. Nothing's going to stop me. And then you see Leicester scoring 5 goals one game with someone scoring a hat-trick, and everyone just pulls their hair out of their head. And they're like, oh, what happened here? Let's bring in Maddison in. Let's bring in Barnes in. So I wouldn't mind preparing for that in a way, just to have a bit of, firstly, low ownership, Leicester players, very, very low ownership. And secondly, we can get that one step ahead whilst everyone else is, holding on that Ronaldo bandwagon.
So would you get Vardy in for the next week?
Probably next week, right? Probably next week.
Yeah. So even if you were to, let's say, get him in the next week, we need to make a transfer to be able to do that.
Yeah.
For this week at least. So we need to at least put a forward here who's going to be cheap, and then maybe you get a Tony out after this upcoming game.
Yep. So we've had one of our midfielders, right?
So, yeah.
Or down as a striker.
Or we downgrade a striker. It has to be less than 1.5 million. So it has to be like a Dennis maybe.
Yeah. Who does Watford play this week?
Watford have Wolves.
I don't mind that. Bring in Dennis, and then next week we'll transfer Tony to Vardy. Or if someone else. Who else can we afford? Can't afford him.
We'll have to do another transfer as well.
Why do we have Dallas in this team?
I don't know. I think we went different. But we can get rid of Dallas next week, I guess.
I don't mind replacing him for Damari Gray. I've enjoyed watching him, to be honest. Very fast, good couple of games, couple of goals, assist. I'm not sure what Everton's round of fixtures are, but I think he could be a steal. They got reported for $1.5 million.
The plan to keep Fernandes for the long run?
I don't know. We could go Damari Gray in for a Dallas probably, right? And then next week probably put Ings and Tony out for the forward line.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because I think
next season, if we downgrade whatever to do to downgrade Tony into who?
Tony into... See, that's the thing, right? We're going to be short of cash.
We're going to be. That's the problem.
Tony will have to go for a downgrade. So Dennis is probably...
It's going to work. Even if you go 4.5, it's not going to work.
Yeah. So we'll have to take a hit.
Yeah.
So we can probably take a hit this week as well. If we're going to do it, might as well just take it this week and play Dennis. So we could probably do Dennis and... we're going to take a hit next week as well.
Yeah.
No.
Because even
successive hits.
Yeah.
What's our style? Who's going to start this? Who's on the bench? Is Dallas going to start this week?
He's playing.
Because my thing with Dallas is that Leeds' fixtures do turn next week as well, so that's something to.
Yes, exactly. It gets a good.
I know that we want to get Gray in, but maybe Gray comes in for someone else. Yeah. Or even this week we can get him for.
Yeah, true.
To be honest, I don't really care about Smith Rowe anymore.
So we'll get rid of Emmitt Smith Rowe.
Yeah, you should go back to video 1 when Rush is speaking so highly of it.
No, hang on. I think we should keep I think I should back my words. No, we'll keep Smith Rowe this week because they're playing Norwich. I think we have to.
Okay. So we'll get rid of Ings, right? We'll get rid of Ings. And we'll bring in
Pookie.
I guess we...
Pookie?
Team of Pookie? No, that's just going to put us in a dangerous situation.
3.9.
Let's just bring in Dennis and see what happens, I guess.
5.9. Sorry.
What do we say?
Yeah, I think in that case, if you want to bring in someone strong in forward, we have to get rid of Fernandes or someone in there. Yeah,
that's what, for the next week. So then we might as well bring a good player this one, right? So let's say we're getting rid of Fernandes in the next game week, right? Then that means we can easily put
any of the strikers we want.
Without having to worry.
It can be either Kane, Vardy, Lukaku, Ronaldo, whoever it is. We have money for that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So who do we put in this week?
I'm okay with Dennis.
Okay, for now. All right. Cool. So that's a transfer, and then we'll have 2 free transfers for next week.
Happy with Dennis as well, Ben?
Yeah. No, good.
All right, cool. So that's our transfer done. Confirm the transfer. We'll have 2 free transfers for next week. We'll have Dennis here starting. Who are we going to captain? Fernandes or Salah?
Fernandes.
It's not going to be a very popular captaincy choice.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on Salah, the vice captain. All right, so that's our team. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll make decisions next week. All right, so that is basically the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for everyone who's joined in the comments as well. Thank you all. One final question from Fadzil. Tierney plus Cody or Marcel plus White plus Semedo? Oh, wait. So Tierney plus a Wolves defender or Ben White and Semedo? I would go with Ben White and Semedo because Tierney is very injury prone from recent memory. Or would you go with
only because of the fact that he's playing and
more
White's back from injury as well. First game for Arsenal, not sure what he's going to do. And Arsenal, you're really banking on a clean sheet with Arsenal with White, but Tierney probably provides the extra attacking option.
Yeah, I agree with that. But did he was he injury free after the Scotland game? Thought I read something.
I think so.
But yeah, I like him. I think he's like the only guy that in the Arsenal team that has some guts. And he's tried hard, so it's and he's good close.
Yeah, you're right. I think he's the only one with guts. I would use a different words, but it's probably not appropriate for the stream. But he's the only one who's got the balls to do it. In a failing Arsenal team. So yeah.
Cool. So that's end. Thank you all for joining. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all next week for the next podcast. And also I'll have a team selection video tomorrow. Good luck to Rushant who's playing the wildcard. I'll be interested to see once the deadline is passed what team he's turned up with. Yeah. And good luck Abin as well.
Because I don't know what my team is going to look like.
Yeah, he's going to be changing it till that last minute, so we'll see. All right. Good luck everyone. Have a good time, and I'll see you guys next week.